Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today's video is going to be the first video in a series that I am thinking about starting. We'll see, this is kind of the tester video, but the series is going to be called Food for Thought, and it's just going to be me making food and just talking my heart out basically about things that I'm passionate about, things that I think are important, and anything really that I feel like talking about at a given time. And I'll start off this series talking today, or first let me explain. I'm going to be making some breakfast. If you guys watched my previous video, you'll know this breakfast. Ingredients are just some cottage cheese, grape tomatoes, some lemons for lemon juice. I got some bread in the toaster there, and some smoked salmon, and a couple of eggs which I'll be frying up, and some butter in the tin foil just for the pan there, which I'm gonna turn the heat on for. So today I'll be making breakfast obviously, and I want to talk about why being able to talk effectively and being able to articulate yourself is so important in life, and a big reason why I'm starting to make this series, because I'm not the greatest speaker, public speaker in the world, and it's something that I struggle with quite a bit. Things like using filler words. I say a lot, I say like a lot. Those types of things I'm trying to eliminate from my vocabulary. There, I just said it again. I'm trying to eliminate those from my vocabulary if I can, because they're just filler words. And do you know, when you hear someone speak that is a really good public speaker, they have such good fluidity in their sentences. There's no awkward pauses here and there, and it just sounds, you listen to what they say because of the way that they speak, the way that they're able to put their thoughts out through their mouth, through their words, and through their actions as well. And I think that being able to do that, speak well and articulate yourself, is so important for getting your ideas across to people, having people value your opinion, and it's just a very good skill to have in life. And one of the best ways that I have found to get better at that is just talking, obviously. But you can't always be talking to someone, so that's where you guys come in, because I will just be talking to the camera now. And not only that, another reason that I'm starting this, here, hold up, I gotta focus for these eggs. I want to get better at cracking with one hand, so. There we go. Another reason that I'm starting this series is because I think that just taking the time to not be listening to music when you're doing something, not be listening to a podcast, is very valuable, but that's super hard for me, and I don't know if it is for you guys as well, but personally, I feel weird when I'm just silent, listening to my own thoughts and thinking in my own mind. For me, that's just something that does not come naturally, and I think that that has something to do with phones and technology and media in the present day, which, shocker, that's such a profound thing to say, but I'm relatively young, I'm 18 years old, and I can see the effect that it has on me in my life, and it's pretty scary, because I can tell that as soon as I'm not doing something, as soon as I'm not watching, listening to something, as soon as I don't have some sort of stimulant going, that's when I get bored, I get not anxious, but it's just uncomfortable, right? And that is not a good thing to have. So whenever I make food, whenever I do make food, usually I'll be listening to something. I'll be, just have something in my ear to take my focus away from my own thoughts. And thinking is one of the best ways to just learn more about yourself. You can ask yourself the tough questions. What's the meaning of life? What do you really believe in? What type of person do you want to be? Because what else are you gonna, think about? What else are you gonna do if you only have your mind and nothing else distracting you? Inevitably, you're kind of gonna start to think about some important stuff. And thinking, just sitting and thinking, and then trying to express what you're thinking, I think is a really valuable skill to have and a really valuable thing to just practice in life. And I hope that as these videos go on, there's my toast. I hope that as these videos go on, I'll be able to just see myself progress better in what I talk about, in how I express what I talk about, and every aspect of just my articulation and my ability to express myself. So let me focus up because I gotta measure out some of this smoked salmon out on my toast. I don't know if any of you guys watched the last video that I posted for my breakfast, but the avocados still are not ripe yet. So we're gonna be sticking with just the salmon and the cottage cheese on the toast. But that's quite alright with me. It's still delicious, it's still banging. So if you guys haven't tried this, get on it now, because it's elite. And I've noticed that, I track my food, and I've noticed that recently, since I switched to whole eggs from egg whites, my my fat intake has gone up a solid amount, a little bit, and it's taking up more the higher portion of my macros than I want it to. So instead of using 3 eggs, I'm just gonna use more cottage cheese and a little bit more salmon as well, because this salmon has just a much higher protein ratio to fat than the eggs do. So if I have less eggs, then I'll have a higher protein to fat ratio in this breakfast. 43 grams, just gotta write that down really quick, so that I can plug that into my MyFitnessPal later today. And let's see if these eggs are finishing up here on this side. I might have put a little too much seasoning on them, but that's all right. This is the dangerous part, so I gotta focus. I butchered that really badly. Uh-oh. I'm about to get murdered in the comments if anyone actually watches this video. Okay. Was not the perfect flip, but you know what? That's going to be another thing that improves as time goes on with this series. I'll become a better and better cook. That I solemnly swear. Anyway, back to what I was saying. First, actually, I'm gonna get this cottage cheese going as well. Right, so speaking. This is kind of like a Sam Sulek type of vibe. If you guys know who that is, that's he's a really popular fitness influencer, and I watched him for quite a while actually. I'm gonna turn this heat down because they should be finishing up. I watched him for quite a while. Actually, I'm just gonna take the eggs off now. They should be done. Very very thin. There we go. And scrape off the little bits. Makes cleanup easier, and also we don't like to waste food here as much as we can. All right. So Sam Sulek, I used to watch him quite a lot, and you can just see that he can talk for hours, and that's because every day he takes out his camera and he talks for hours. And I haven't done this, but I'm sure that if you go back to his earlier YouTube videos, he does not talk nearly as fluently, as elegantly, and as informatively and effectively as he does today. And that's kind of the sort of thing that I'm hoping to gain from this series. So you could say that I'm copying him, you could say whatever, and maybe I am, but maybe that's not a bad thing. I never really no, it's tough because I don't like to just copy people straight up. 100 grams, perfect. But I also think that taking inspiration from someone and what they're doing and adding your own little twist, adding something that's a little bit different, isn't a bad thing. Now, where that line is drawn, I don't know. Because it's not as black and white as you might think. And you know what? Actually, copying someone else's content, ideas, like not actually copying their physical content, but just making the same type of style, there's no issue with that generally. I just think that it's not necessarily the best way to grow on whatever social media you're posting on, if that's your main goal. Because you gotta have something unique about you. You know, if you just copy exactly what someone else does and you don't have your own spin to it, if you don't add something extra, then why would people watch you instead of the person that already makes that type of content, right? 17, 13 more. 9, 4 more. Now that doesn't mean that you have to do a completely different style of content, but I think it does mean that you should try and bring something different, whether that's through your personality, your jokes, your humor, your editing style, anything like that. There just has to be an aspect of novelty or something cool about the video that makes people want to watch. And someone like Sam Sulek, I've been thinking about this, how kind of crazy his rise was. Because you'd think, or I would think, that videos like his, where he's just talking for most of it, and then you get some workout action, obviously, I would have thought videos like his wouldn't be that popular nowadays, because TikTok is so popular. People don't have the best attention spans, myself included, which is, again, part of the reason why I'm doing this. And he's very slow. He doesn't stimulate that much. So you'd think someone like him posting, that would be maybe earlier days YouTube type of thing. But no, he's risen in popularity like crazy. Which I guess there is actually sort of a duality to the social media space, because there is that aspect of instant gratification, short form videos, but then you also see the booming of podcasts. So maybe actually Sam Sulek doesn't fall under that influencer type of TikToker category. Maybe you can think of him like a solo podcaster almost. Just always talking about what he thinks and discussing different methods for training and whatnot. Doesn't that look good? All right, let's get the toast back on there. Should be nice and warm because I kept the pan on to minimum heat, but should keep the toast crispy and still hot. And I'm gonna quickly throw those eggs into the microwave for literally just 20-30 seconds because I like them to be nice and hot. While those are in there, grab this lemon juice. This is the thing that really elevates the dish in my opinion. Just adds that little bit of tanginess, a little bit of character. This thing turns from a regular chocolate ice cream to a triple chunk fudge. I don't even know, but it gets elevated. That's the main point. And for this channel, sorry, I'm focusing up here, so I'm not talking that much. For this channel, there's going to be a lot of videos like this one for the Food for Thought series, or this is at least my plan, is that there's going to be a lot of these Food for Thought ones, because I'll just make these whenever I'm cooking. But then I also want to have the more recipe tutorial, learning how to cook type videos as well, like the ones that I've posted recently. Because I think that both of those are really good videos to make, and I really enjoy making both of them. So this one's going to be just the kind of repeat recipes that you guys have seen a long time. I don't want to just make the same video over and over saying, oh, this is how you make my breakfast, when it's the exact same thing every day. But I do think that I can come up with different things to talk about every day. And if I can do that while making breakfast, killing two birds with one stone. Which also actually brings me to another reason why I'm doing this. is that I want to be able to think about many different things and talk about many different things as well. Because just the having the time and just taking specific time in your day to try and have something to talk about that is interesting will lead you to a bunch of revelations and a bunch of thoughts that you never would have had if you didn't do something like this. So there's the breakfast. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was the first, let me set this up so you can see me. So this was the first edition, the first video of Food for Thought. Let me know what you guys thought, and these videos are only going to get better and better. So I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.